Okay, so let's dive right into this really essential question. How did ancient societies solve problems of power, belief, and community? Take a second to really think about that. This isn't just some casual thought experiment for a textbook. This is the absolute compass that's going to guide us through our entire journey into ancient history. If you've ever found yourself wondering how the very first humans actually organized themselves, or how they built these massive, sprawling empires, or even created belief systems that still drive our world today, well, you are in the exact right place.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking the official St. Paul Middle School curriculum pacing guide for grades 6 and 7 ancient history, and we are transforming it into an epic, time-traveling itinerary for your school year. We're going to decode exactly what you'll be learning, how long you'll spend on each era, and, most importantly, why these ancient stories actually matter to you right now.
So, here is our grand agenda for the year. We're breaking your upcoming studies down into 4 main units: social studies skills and tools, early civilizations, the ancient world, and finally, new empires and faiths.
Now, if you're wondering how this all fits into your 39-week school year, it's perfectly balanced. You'll spend 10 weeks mastering the basics in Unit 1, 9 weeks exploring the very first societies in Unit 2, and then 10 solid weeks each on Units 3 and 4. This pacing is a real game changer because it gives you exactly enough time to thoroughly explore every major historical era without ever feeling rushed. We can really dig into the fascinating details of these cultures.
We're also taking those complex educational standards and translating them into something actually practical for you. You might hear about the NCSS-C3 framework or Common Core literacy standards and think, okay, that sounds like a bunch of academic jargon, right? But what it really translates to is your everyday toolkit. What this means is that you aren't just going to sit there memorizing a dry list of ancient dates. No way. You are learning how to read, write, and think like a real working historian. You're going to learn how to actually evaluate evidence and communicate your own solid conclusions.
All right, let's look at Unit 1, Social Studies Skills and Tools. This is all about building the foundation.
See, before you ever meet an ancient king or a powerful pharaoh or some fierce warrior, you first need to learn how to investigate the past. So over these first 10 weeks, you'll dive into the geography handbook and develop some serious map and graph proficiency. You'll learn the real-world importance of geography. We're talking about how simple things like rivers and mountains literally shaped human destiny. You'll figure out how to measure and organize historical time, and, perhaps absolutely crucial for navigating today's information age, you're going to learn how to evaluate primary and secondary sources for credibility and reliability, just like a professional historian does.
Moving right along to Unit 2, Early Civilizations, the Foundations of Society.
These early societies created incredible, highly tangible inventions just to solve early human problems. In this unit, we're focusing heavily on how geography, science, technology, and economics completely shaped human life. For example, the Mesopotamians didn't just build the first cities, they actually developed writing itself. The Egyptians created papyrus, which completely revolutionized how human beings record and share information. And the ancient Israelites established scripture that deeply influenced European religions for centuries to come. It's just wild to think about the lasting impact of that.
Next up is Unit 3, the Ancient World. We're looking at identity and government.
It's fascinating to see the massive cultural leaps happening simultaneously all across the globe here. We'll be looking at how overarching social systems and structures trickled down to influence everyday individuals. The Greeks further developed these really robust writing and civic systems. The ancient Chinese created paper, which provided yet another massive leap forward in communication. And then, the people of early India literally invented the concept of zero. Think about that for a second. The complex math, science, and engineering we absolutely rely on today, it simply wouldn't exist without that mind-bending concept born right there in the ancient world.
Finally, we hit Unit 4, New Empires and Faiths. This one is all about connections and conflict.
Okay, so the innovations from these growing empires, they literally built the modern world we live in today. In this unit, we track the causes and effects of human interaction, how trade, diplomacy, and war took these isolated societies and connected them into a giant global network. The Romans invented concrete and mastered the architectural arch, permanently changing how we build our cities. Early Christians helped shape the core religious beliefs of the West, and the Islamic civilizations spread their faith while simultaneously giving us algebra. These interactions completely shaped the cultural and intellectual developments of the modern era.
So, where does this all lead us? Let's check out the 4 ultimate student outcomes.
I really want to reiterate this. You won't just be passively memorizing dates. By the end of this school year, you're going to master 4 key analytical steps. 1, you'll be able to confidently compare different political systems. 2, You'll be able to explain complex religious and cultural ideas. 3. You can trace how trade and ideas diffused, spread like wildfire across oceans and continents. And 4. You'll be able to evaluate the historical legacy of these civilizations all on your own. You're going to emerge from this class proving that you can evaluate history for yourself, drawing your own well-researched conclusions based on credible evidence.
So, you're now fully equipped with your roadmap for middle school ancient history. You know the exact tools you need, the fascinating civilizations you'll meet, and the analytical skills you're going to master by the end of the year. But as we wrap up this explainer, it leaves us with one incredibly provocative question. As you step into the past, what historical legacy will you uncover? And when you finally look back at how these ancient societies solved their problems of power, belief, and community, what vital lessons are you going to bring back to our present world?